welcome to What's Going On with your hosts Corey Struck and Lynette Hapgood. Today we are going to be interviewing Erica Payne, Smith Payne.
I've been Smitty.
Some of you may know her as Smitty. She is currently the president of the Wakeland School Foundation, I think for something like 100 years.
Only 10.
Only 10 years, my bad. And we're also going to be interviewing former 49ers player Bubba Paris. And before we get to all of that, we're going to give you a quick recap of current events here in Mountain House. As most of you hopefully know, there was an election last week. So last week there was an election. During that election, there was a school board seats and there were CSD seats. If you've watched our show before, you know that we interviewed 5 candidates. Of those 5 candidates, 4 of them won. So I think that means that we have a really, really good track record. So if you're running for something in the future, you might want to come on our show. It turns out that you win most of the time. In addition, if I've swam in your pool, you win, because every pool I've ever swam in who ran for an election has in fact won. So if you have a pool, you want to be in office, invite me to a pool party.
And then come talk to us.
And you've got to have like a 100% chance of winning.
Yes.
Which is really high. All right, so let's talk about the individual elections. Let's start with the CSD. In a very surprising CSD election, we had the incumbent Stephen Gutierrez win, and then we had the newcomer Brian Lucid win. In third place, we had Thomas Lee, the one CS. Actually, I guess
not
we
the
did
teacher from Wickland.
Not a teacher.
Totally different Thomas Lee.
Also, he may have thought he was running for the school board.
Also,
but he got third anyway.
But he got third.
Yeah, whatever. Coming in fourth place was current director Celeste Farron. So she will no longer be on the board starting January. They go through, right? The year.
I think December.
Okay, fine. Starting in December?
Soon.
Starting soon. She will no longer be on the board. I don't know. This is the worst open ever. I just keep talking. Why have you like come into this yet? I can keep going. I was hoping you would jump in. So then in the school board election, we had incumbent Sharon Lampel win, and then we had a newcomer Colin Clements win. I believe Sharon got the most votes in that election, and Colin got the second most votes in that election.
Yeah,
and then coming in third place was Atul Khanna. I think I might have been able to win this year. It turns out apparently everyone was just voting for people who were not currently elected. And I would have put up signs at least.
We would have taken them down.
What? We could have interviewed me. I could have asked myself questions.
We could have interviewed you. You know, he kind of ran all over the interviews anyways. That's okay. He does. He has a lot to say.
I don't know if I have a lot to say. I just say a lot.
But do you really think that people winning was a direct correlation with them coming on the show?
Yes.
You're drawing that hard line? Okay.
Absolutely.
Corey swam in your pool and you came on our show so you get elected.
Thank you.
I just don't think it's as finite as that.
You don't think my swimming in pools has anything to do with it?
I don't think so. So I think that speaks volumes for our community. We always talk about people who are commuting. They're not accessible.
Sure.
So even if they couldn't get through an entire episode with us of 15 to 30 minutes of asking questions.
Which we're hoping to
Pardon me.
improve on in the future.
We
A
are.
little quicker. We're going to
We're gonna make
streamline
it
some
shorter.
interviews. It's going to be a little more
And
off the cuff.
And the panel, I think, was really the best thing that we did. Everyone had their own time to come talk to us individually, which was great, and they could kind of direct their own interview as they saw fit. But I think the panel was just better.
Yeah, the panel was great. You were really good in the CSD, or not CSD, the LUSD panel.
Good on that one.
Yeah, I had to bail out on it. You were really, really good.
I was.
Yeah.
And you know what the best part was?
I left it? No, that
No.
wasn't it.
That no one knew what we were going to ask. So I know a lot of people were uneasy about talking to us. For some reason, they thought that we could not be fair and balanced. But
Like
them
Fox
not
News.
having the questions ahead of time really helped. Yeah, I know, we're not Fox. Fox isn't Fox. But they actually had to come up with things. They had to respond. And if they couldn't respond, they had to get out of it gracefully. So I think that's what we were going for, is we want to see who the people are that we're electing.
Yeah, I rewatched those videos. I thought there was a ton of really good information in those.
There was.
You definitely got some people off guard. You had some questions in there that no one was expecting.
Yeah, people were turning red, and it wasn't just us.
Yeah, same thing worked out in the CSD building as well, or CSD interview as well. We got some really good questions in
We
there, I
did.
think, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran out of thoughts eventually.
That always happens to them.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
All right, so we've got new people coming in. We've got Brian Lucid, who's coming in, and if I recall correctly, his basic stance is that he's going to be a Sith Lord and rule over us all in a very, very Emperor Palpatine fashion. That's what his Facebook says, I think, right?
With games.
It's like all pictures of Sith Lords and
Yes.
Emperor Palpatine, so I would
Yes.
assume that inevitably these will not be the droids we're looking for, right? That's how it works. So he's going to be great. He's very, very oriented on, very focused oriented.
Safety.
Safety and logistics. That's
Yes.
the word.
So the only thing that worried me about Brian is that he kept talking about purse strings and cutting back and, right?
And dieting.
Yeah,
Stuff kind of
and
offensive.
taking an appetite
Fat person.
suppressant, right? He kept using those words, and we never really got to the things that we need to stop eating.
So him being like a self-proclaimed Sith Lord doesn't worry you nearly as much?
Not really, no. I could deal with that.
Wow. I don't know about you. I'm worried
They
about
have-
supernatural powers. Just saying.
I have a cloak.
It's fine. There's stuff we can cut. I'm sure he's there's the budget meeting every year. Hopefully, we'll get a really good turnout.
I
for
know.
the budget
I just
meeting.
wanted to know what those specific were. I want to know what we're looking at. I mean, if we're saying that we're eating too much, right? When
You
do
did
we
ask
stop
him that.
eating? Is it donuts?
You asked him that during the CSD for some specifics, and he didn't really
I
provide
did.
a
We
whole
didn't
lot of
get
them
them.
at all,
We
actually.
didn't get them.
But I think a lot of that may have to do with the fact that he hasn't seen all the numbers.
You think that's it?
Well, if you haven't seen all the numbers, it's pretty hard to
How
say.
can you be certain that you need to cut them if you haven't seen the numbers?
Well, I mean, all you have to see is that we spend more than we earn, and you know we have to cut. I mean, you don't have to see all my numbers if I tell you
Says who?
I
Maybe we
spend
should
more
just-
money than I earn.
Maybe we should just get a second job. More taxes.
Oh, we could. We could do more taxes. There's one thing America and Mountain House specifically loves. It's more taxes.
America.
More taxes.
Yes.
We could say that they're for schools. Apparently, if you say it's for schools, it always gets passed here in California.
People feel horrible
Take
not
Prop
giving money to
47, for
schools.
example.
Yeah.
Right? You know, hey,
Don't even know what it's going for.
we're going to let out all these violent people, and the money's going to go to your schools. Vote yes.
So we have an amazing guest tonight. Who is our guest tonight?
Oh, our first guest tonight is Erica Smith Payne. Erica, come join us.
So we were actually just talking about Funds for Education.
Yes.
Yes! After election results, right?
Yes.
Corey made a comment that if you say it's for education, it gets voted for every time. You actually work in our schools out here
I do.
as
Yes.
an employee and as a volunteer.
That's correct.
So do you see any of these monies? Where do they go once we vote yes to give the schools money?
I haven't seen the money just yet. No.
The election was like 3 days ago.
But no, I haven't seen where the funding has gone yet. I know that we did vote on that. All of us in the community voted for what we would like the money to go toward. But I have not seen where that money has actually gone just yet. So I'm hopeful that before, say, January or so, there'll be another meeting or some type of committee that will form, and there will be an explanation of what's going on.
Where do you hope the money goes?
I hope it goes towards the things that we voted on, that we'd like to see it go towards. The GATE program, the music program, the after-school enrichment program. That's what I would like to see it go for.
What are the alternatives? They just like burn the money?
They just hold on to it.
I don't know.
It must be spent, so we're hoping that it's spent.
And you want to be spent
wisely.
on basically like extracurricular stuff like GATE, which is effectively an extracurricular for the smart kids, music and art, which is extracurricular for the artsy kids, after school programs, which is like extracurricular for like, I don't know, the
Don't
truant
mind your
kids or
children.
something, I don't know.
It could be for everybody, actually. After-school program doesn't have to be an intervention. That's what it's been called for the last, 3 or 4 years, an intervention. You're teetering on below basic, and so
Used to
you
be homework
must
club.
come to this. Right, it was homework club, reading club. It doesn't have to be a slight to the student.
It's amazing when I stumble on things like that. I had no idea.
Now I have a question for you both, if you could help me out with this. The GATE program, does that fall under special education,
No.
meaning that it has to be funded? Because that's what I had heard from someone, and I'm not sure about that, and you guys are very knowledgeable, so.
I mean, I wouldn't know. Lynette would surely know more than I, but I doubt it.
So it's not something that must be funded by our district, it has to, the LCAP has to take care of that.
Well, so that's a problem we've had before. You know that every school has watched their GATE program disappear.
Right.
It has dwindled, it has diminished, and it has gone away completely.
Maybe we should have less smart
And
kids.
art, music, science are all considered essential parts of the GATE program.
Right.
And that turned into spelling bee and Olympiads and
Got it.
science fair.
Got
Right?
it.
Because
Mhm.
we're somehow contorting these things and saying these still qualify for gifted and talented children to show us their
Right.
gifts and their talents.
Okay.
So my issue is, I came from 4 schools. So they reached out even more, and it wasn't just because of funding, it was parent engagement. And it was teachers saying, we have children that are struggling, but we need to give them a way to voice themselves,
Right.
To be existing here and to be happy. And I feel in our community, there are enough people who actually care about the kids, who actually care about everyone, that taking away essentials, that give those children a chance to show who they are, and it's not for the smart kids. In my opinion, it's not.
What, GATE?
Yes.
Clearly for the smart kids.
It's
Let's go
gifted and talented. You
talented
define what a
education.
gift is. You define
Right,
what
that
a
could
talent
be,
is.
right, it's not just the academic
It's
side.
not.
People with,
Right.
six
It's not.
fingers, that's a
If
gift.
you have a kid that can sit there and reprogram your iPad, that is a gift. right?
And a
That's
smart kid.
talent.
That's a smart
He
kid.
may not be
He
able.
might be struggling with
He may
his
not be able to
academics.
do geometry, but he can do anything you want on electronics, right? That's all I'm saying. So to look at these small little factors and say
redefining
he's
smart.
good at reading, he's good at writing, or he's good at math is not enough for our children.
Right,
And you see kids at how many schools every day.
right.
You look at each child, which I appreciate and I value you for, and you can find what is special about them. And that is what our schools are supposed to be doing. And to say that that is special education is strange. To say that that is beyond expectation is strange to me. Because
Wait.
they don't have access to things they should have access to. How do you know that you want to grow up and pursue a degree in art? Any kind of art, right? If you
Right.
never see art,
Right.
if you never make art, if you never hear art, it does not exist in your world.
I definitely agree, and that's why WSF, we finally were able to get our Art on Wheels program going for this school year. And it's so important because, I mean, the art program, there is no art program in
There
our
is no
school
art
district.
program.
So the Art on Wheels program, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's for K through 5 at Wickland. And it's solely funded by Wickland School Foundation. And so what we have are dedicated parent volunteers who come into the classroom once per month for each grade, each class, and teach an art class. And we provided all of the materials, the carts, everything that they need to have the art program. And it's a success so far. We've
When you
gotten
say
rave reviews from the teachers and parents and kiddos.
each class once per month, does that mean how many months are they doing? Like how many months are there in a school year? 9? So they're probably doing 8 months
We
or
didn't
something?
start until the last week of September. So let's just say October to May,
So-
because there will be an art exhibit in May.
Call that 8. I don't know how many it is. So then each class gets one visit per month.
Yes.
Right. So like my daughter's class, for example, she's at Wickland, so she'll get one class each month.
Yes.
And each class. If I understand this correctly from the thing I was thinking, they actually are doing a different artist each month, right? So
That's correct,
Like
yes.
the first month, I think like the pilot was like a Jackson Pollock or something.
Yes, and then they'll do Van Gogh,
Yeah.
they'll do Warhol. Yes, and they'll just keep going from there.
And there's different programs you can purchase. The one that we piloted at Bethany. with the
Yes, I
kindergarten and
remember
first
that.
grade.
Yes.
It was amazing.
It was,
Because
and you
it-
guys came in and taught the class, and
The kids
it was
loved
awesome.
it. The parents loved it. It was, and it's only like $1,000, and you get
Mhm.
rights to all of this. They give you the whole program, and all you have to do is find the parents to come and teach it.
Right, that's the key, it's having the
Yeah,
parents to
having
come
the
and be
parents
dedicated.
come and teach.
Yes.
You brought up a good point just now with the money. How much money was the Art on Wheels program? How much money did it cost Wickland School Foundation in order to get art in every single class this year?
Approximately $3,500.
$3,500. I mean, it's not that much money. How many students do we have at Wickland? 350, something like that?
For K-5, probably a little over, about that, maybe 350, 400.
I mean, that's like 2 Starbucks drinks, like, per parent for the entire school year, and your kid could have gotten art. I mean,
Give up
just
your
cut out like
lattes, folks.
cut out like 4
We're
Starbucks
just
drinks and
coming
like,
after 'em.
and you could get 2 days. I mean, it's
But
And
see,
I-
this is,
It's not
this
that
is what
much money.
parents don't know. This is the problem.
Right, I
They
agree.
give and they give and they give, and then they vote, right, to give more money to schools, and they don't understand what their kids are not getting.
Right,
And that, as a parent, that's the frustrating part. So when you send around a survey and say, what would we like to have, they don't know what we do have.
right.
So Wickland parents may not vote for an art program because you brought one.
Because we have it, right. And the only reason it's K through 5 is because, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they have art as an elective. So that's why we just stopped it at K-5. And I wanted to thank you, Corey, because the Jingle All the Way 5K money went towards, that was allocated towards the Art on Wheels program. So,
good. Well, hopefully you'll get
thank
it
you.
again
And it's
this year.
going to
and
do
It'll
it
be more.
again. That's right, so
Keep it
thank you.
going. Sign up for the run.
Thank
I'm
you
trying to
for
roll
that.
that. Yeah, sign up this month if you can. www.facebook.com/mhjinglerun.
Yes,
PPS.
And it helps all of our schools. Yeah, that's
All the
awesome.
elementary schools, not the
Yes.
high school
Right.
though.
No.
They're on their own.
That's true. So what other programs has Wickland brought?
Oh, let's see. That's the only program
Yeah,
that
music.
the WSF program, the WSF Foundation has brought. That's the only program. We fund everything that the school needs that we can. I mean, from just teacher requests, administration requests, sports requests, anything that they ask for. If we're able to do it, we will do it. That's what we're there for. We're, the Wickland School Foundation is there to support the staff, even the parents, the administration, the students. So that's what we're there for, to offer full support.
And you're fully funded basically by donations from the community or from businesses in the
Yes,
community, right?
sponsors within the community. Sandia Lab sponsored for the Science Olympiad for this school year, and we are thanking them for that. They gave us a grant. Yeah, but it's mainly the parents and Mountain House Elite. I couldn't thank them enough. From Carnival to everything just sponsoring a lot of different things.
Yeah, they
Mountain House
sponsor
Elite
stuff,
is
yeah.
a, yes,
They're sponsoring the
so
Jugo
we
Running
thank
this
them
year,
very
so.
much. Right, so Mountain House Elite is a huge support,
they
so we
should've.
thank
It's
them
like way
very
out
much.
balance. So I guess
Thanking them.
I guess what I would ask then is, just a general overview for people who maybe do not know, how much money would you say roughly did the Wakeland School Foundation contribute, raise and give back to the teachers, to the students last year?
For 2013-14, I would say roughly we raised 17,000. I'm seeing my treasurer's report in my head right now. About 17,000 or so, and we gave back 17,000.
Sure.
So we try to put it all out before the year ends. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. That gets the kids arts.
Yeah, this right now,
amazing.
year to date, we have about, I think we've raised about 19,000. So we have money to spend. So we're looking forward to doing
You said
that.
19,000
We gotta get
already?
rid of
So
it.
you have a new partner this
pretty
year,
good,
though,
right?
19,000. Yeah. So and Coles Cares has helped us out a lot. So
Who found them?
Lori Hinko has helped us out a lot already, and it's only, November? So with Coles Cares, we create projects for the Coles Cares employees who volunteer, and they take those projects and put them together and create them, and they pay us to do that.
It's the most amazing thing ever.
It's awesome. I mean, I just couldn't
Shop
believe
at
it when I
Kohl's.
heard about it a couple of years ago. So we did for Turkey Trot, we did these little water bottles for K in first grade, and we turned them into turkeys. And so we gave them a sample. Coles Cares took them, and it took them 2 days to get them together. So it's $500 per day, so we made $1,000 for them to put together the Turkey Trot bottles for us to give out at Turkey Trot.
And they give you back the bottles. It's not like they keep them. It's like
Right,
literally
they give it
like-
all back.
They do
It's just
all the
like
work
so
for you.
money.
It's so
They do.
amazing.
They
Right,
do the work
free
and
money.
they pay you for the privilege.
They take everything.
It's amazing.
Right.
Were you able to go to the turkey trot at all? I know you work, so you probably.
I was at
missed it,
Bethany's
yeah.
turkey trot.
How was Bethany's turnout this year?
It wasn't bad. There were a lot of parents cheering them on.
That's good.
The staff, we ran and had
That's
some
good.
fun.
We
so
tried. We sent out
it was
some flyers
nice.
for it. I was hoping that maybe it would have improved performance there.
Definitely. I think the flyers
Yeah,
helped.
but-
No, the flyers
It's not.
definitely helped because a lot of parents, no matter how long they've been in this district, they still will say they don't realize that every cent from the turkey trot goes directly back into their student's classroom. And when they realize that that's what happens, they want to give so much more.
Right.
So,
Well, and to be fair, they also have 3 or 4 fundraisers before Turkey Trot. So it's not that they forget, it's just they might not be paying attention at that point.
well, I've had some that come to me and say, I had no clue.
Yeah,
Literally.
I've
Like,
definitely.
Pay attention.
yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, no, I mean, you
Wake
know,
up,
I
pay
mean,
attention.
you're actively involved, so
Yeah.
it just sounds crazy to you, like, how could they not
How
know?
did you not
But
know that?
no, you've
No,
heard it too.
honestly,
They-
I didn't know either. Like
Well, the
last year, I
teachers do
didn't
push
know
it
last year at
though.
all.
I mean, in the teachers' newsletters,
Oh, there's
they say over and
flyers,
over
the
again, this is coming
newsletters,
right back to us.
there's information out there, but sometimes it just slips through the cracks. It depends on the parent.
So I know one of the goals of everyone who was running this year was definitely communication
Yes,
and district, parent, everything. So obviously you're an employee, you volunteer, and you actually have a child in our schools.
yes.
So you're the trifecta.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about communication with our parents?
Well, that's kind of tough for me because I stay involved, so I feel like the communication is pretty good because I don't allow it to not be. So for parents that are busy, that are actually commuting, that are probably not as tuned in, I don't know. I can't really speak for them. I don't know. I just know for me, I do my best to communicate with everybody. So if there's a parent that says, Erica, I need to know what's going on with this, that, and the other, I do my best to stop and take the time to speak with them. From a district standpoint, I hear it's an open door policy. It has been for me. So with administration at Wickland, I know it's an open door policy. So the communication, it is possible for parents to have that communication.
We get a weekly update too from the principal at Wickland. I'm not sure if
Mhm.
Bethany's principal's sending out a weekly, but we get basically a weekly update from Principal Gonzalez. It's like, yeah, this is what we did this week, and this is what's
Right.
coming up next week.
The newsletters. Yeah.
No, this is like an e-blast. This is
Okay.
something totally separate. Yeah, the newsletter comes out every other week.
Right, we get something every single week.
Every single
From the
week.
principal.
So maybe that's the problem. I mean, obviously, there is no rule for communication, right? So your school has something that the other schools may not have.
Right, there's no like
We have other
policy
The
things
procedure
schools don't
in place.
necessarily have a Facebook page. It's the foundations that have a Facebook page.
Heck, my first grade,
Right.
Wickland's
Right.
first grade is a
The
Facebook
district
page.
page.
I know, you're right,
The district
right.
page is kind of hard to navigate gotta admit that, right?
Right, I don't
It
use
is.
that
It is
page
actually
much.
kind of hard.
It's hard to
Yeah,
navigate.
That's fair.
yeah.
So even if you get in there, you're like, wait, am I looking for a job? Am I looking for a lunch menu? It's hard to figure out what's going
Right,
on.
it's gotten better though, they have given it a little bit of a facelift.
It's still hard. And I know where I'm going. That's
Right,
the funny part.
right.
I had people ask me for stuff, so I go on there, I try to pull it out quickly and just send it to them instead of saying, well, you gotta go here and here and there, and sometimes like, wait a minute, no, it's not there anymore, it's not what it was supposed to be.
Right,
But I do get the commuting, and it is hard, and a lot of parents can't go stomping around school, you know, hey, at 3 o'clock, if your kids are gone, sometimes the teachers are gone.
Right.
Or they're doing their own enrichment, so it's just not possible to keep that open line all the time.
right.
Do the teachers not respond? I mean, have you had trouble with teachers responding to emails? It's not that you can admit that, I guess, because then you're
Oh, I
you're
haven't,
targeted.
but I
don't know,
also.
my teacher, my child's teachers have
But
both been.
and a lot of
I mean, I
parents
like two,
don't
but they've been
pursue
excellent.
though. I mean, a lot of parents don't. They don't come and ask how things are going. They don't.
gotta
They
get
don't
what you
check
put in.
in. They don't have
Right,
that
I
regular
agree.
contact.
That's what I would say, you do kind of get what you put in, and
I don't feel like the
You
school
know.
district's communication's necessarily all that bad, unlike the old CSDs, which I think is really marginal.
Well, I don't know. As far as the district, I feel like there's certain information that parents are not getting.
Or like health
It-
class, yeah, that got skipped out a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea about that
Meetings.
until tonight.
Right. I mean, so that's why I'm talking about this. So there were meetings
wasn't
and
aware of
not
that one.
everybody's invited to, right?
Right.
Or there's a survey, and sometimes there's only 200 people responding, and those 200 people get their say.
And it's gotta be out of what, like 1,600 or so,
16,
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's thousands of kiddos in this district, so.
Yeah. And people miss stuff too, you know, especially if you gave them the wrong email address. It might not come to you. So
Right.
it's not always, and it's not always a failure on one person's part. It's just sometimes there are communication errors or communication issues.
Right,
And that just seemed to be a huge part of what everybody was running on, is how do we increase communication? Which is funny, because I remember during the interview with the tool, he was talking about this as a program, did not realize we did not have a music teacher.
right.
So,
The electro flute thing, right?
the recorder,
You guys are very clear on that electro flutey thing.
the recorder, yeah. But that's something that, I mean, we realized as soon as someone was hired, because we got something saying that someone was hired, but as a parent who buys an instrument,
Wait,
you
someone
would
got hired?
expect that's going to school.
Oh, you guys have a music teacher now?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
yes.
Good
She's
for
very
you.
nice, yes, yes.
Good for you.
Awesomeness, right?
Your kids play an instrument?
I have a trumpet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Your kids play, is your kid play an instrument?
No, that would be in that, see, he's 5th grade, so he would have to miss class to have either choir or band. It's not an elective for
Nothing
him
you learn
yet
in
until
fifth grade is
6th
even
grade.
worthwhile anyway.
He's not missing class.
Totally fine.
So he has to wait until 6th
You just
grade
have to start
because
learning
he'd
like
have to.
sophomore year.
No, 5th grade is, you learn your states, all 50 of them. It's important.
No, it's not.
Fourth grade is hard.
Learning all 50 states is
Foundation,
worthless. It's
right?
almost as bad as having to learn the
He needs to
capitals
know
of all
where
50
he's
states.
traveling,
You know how
right?
often you're going to need that
He needs
information,
to
like
know where he's
never.
traveling.
All right, well, as everyone just found out, our next guest, Bubba Paris, is in the building. So we're gonna need to wrap up here with our current guest, with Erica. So Erica, do you have anything you want to say at the end here? Anything you want to plug? Any upcoming events or any sort of
Oh, sure, that would
things
be
you want to champion real quick before?
Well, I'd like to say thank you for having me. It's always fun and a pleasure to see you both.
Okay, we'll invite you back.
Of course, that'll be fun.
We'll do a drinking game next time. It'll be
Okay,
awesome.
I'll be totally prepared. So as far as upcoming events, this Friday evening, we do have a movie night at Wickland, and the doors open at 6:30. Showtime is at 7. It has, the title, of course, I can't reveal because of all the rules and regulations, but it does have something to do with the dragon. So just that'll be a hint. And admission is always free. So we'll have concessions, pizza, nachos, and all that good stuff, cotton candy. And we'd love to have you come out.
Is it Sword in the Stone? That movie's awesome.
No,
No.
a little bit more.
Sword in the Stone has a dragon. Doesn't Sword in the Stone have a dragon?
No.
Is it Pete's dragon?
And we're having nachos, so you better be there. You always request nachos. Okay.
Oh my god, I'm gaining so much weight lately. Oh. God.
Yeah, so that's about it for now. So, thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.